Hello and welcome to the iconic .connect, the news show. Well, last week I talked about the lies, the fixed data, and the technological potential now to manipulate the weather, all of which is being blamed on human-caused climate change that's not actually happening. And this week I want to look at the consequences, the environmental consequences, ironically, of green energy and green technology. I was a spokesman for a relatively short time for the British Green Party in the 1980s. And I joined the party and promoted it because I, like environmentalists of those days, cared about the environment, cared about the pollution, the industrial waste, protecting natural beauty, protecting wildlife, all these things that come under the heading, or used to, of environmentalism. But all that has been sacrificed, just look around, on the satanic altar of human-caused climate change. That lie has completely taken over what used to be the environmental movement and is now the green movement, which is simply a foot soldier operation for the global cult agenda of global dystopia, using human-caused climate change as the excuse. And basically what's happened is the environmentalist mind has been seized and turned into a religion, a climate cult religion, which is leading the world down the road to a digital concentration camp in which freedom is no more. So here's a story from the Institute for Energy Research, headed "Green Technologies Cause Massive Waste and Pollution." Electric vehicle batteries, solar panels, and wind turbines, green, result in a massive amount of waste and pollution, the article says. China is responsible for half of the total electric vehicles in the world, a number that is growing rapidly, and about half of its retired batteries are not disposed in an environmentally sound way. Ditto the rest of the world. It's causing significant waste and pollution problems, and batteries can be recycled, the article says, but the cost is high, as it is with solar panels, which contain hazardous materials. Most solar panels end up in landfills, as do wind turbines, whose large blades are a major factor in their disposal. The United States does not have a policy for recycling these green technologies, which means that the US landfills can expect to see a massive increase in disposed materials for them as President Biden seeks to implement his net zero carbon plan for all US energy by 2050. This is a sobering thought when you see all these turbines going up, all these solar panels, all these batteries in more and more electric cars. Wind turbines have a life of about 10 to 20 years, solar panels 25 years, and electric vehicle batteries around 12 to 15 years. And all those aspects, all that trash that comes from green energy technology then has to somehow be disposed of. How long will your solar panels last? Millions will soon face the cost of replacing their eco roof tiles, and most will be scrapped because there's only one place to recycle them in the UK. There's around 25 million solar panels in the UK and 2.5 billion globally. The first generation of solar panels are expected to die off in the coming years. Experts have warned that many could end up in landfill rather than recycled because of a drastic lack of infrastructure. The first generation of solar panels is forecast to die within the next 5 to 10 years. And according to Professor Chris Sansom at the University of Derby, by 2050, we could have 300 million tons of scrap panels globally. For comparison, the world currently produces a similar amount of plastic waste each year. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're told is green, environmentally friendly technology. In 2018, a senior Chinese solar official and research scientist with the German Stuttgart Institute of Photovoltaics warned that solar panel disposal will, quote, explode with full force in 2 or 3 decades and wreck the environment. He also warned that there will be a huge amount of waste as they are not easy to recycle, adding, the reality is there is a problem now and it's only going to get larger, expanding as rapidly as the PV industry expanded 10 years ago. This is what I mean by the mind of the environmentalist, or the green, not really environmentalist, being taken over, so that all this is completely kind of ignored because of this unbelievable focus only on human-caused climate change and believing whatever the system tells them to believe. And the truth is that so-called green energy is an environmental and human catastrophe. We'll start with the batteries used in electric vehicles and other modern tech, which involves environmentally devastating practices to produce materials such as lithium, cobalt, and nickel.
Lithium comes from 2 major sources, brine and hard rock deposits. To extract it, miners drill holes in the salt flats and pump the salty, mineral-rich brine to the surface, leaving it to evaporate in huge artificial lakes or ponds. These ponds are also called salterns, or salt pans, or salars. Here the lithium-rich brine water is left to evaporate in the sun. The remaining solution is further processed in several stages until the lithium is suitable for use. This process uses a lot of water, over 500,000 gallons, which is close to 2 million liters of water for each ton of lithium produced. Such massive use of water not only affects the surrounding ecosystem, but also has a huge impact on local farmers. Not only that, but these large evaporation pools are often far from sealed. This can and has led to the leaching of toxic substances into the surrounding water supply. But EV batteries are not just all about lithium. There are some other key components that are just as potentially harmful to the environment as lithium: cobalt and nickel. Though cobalt is relatively easy to extract, cobalt mining produces large amounts of airborne particles, which often contain toxic contaminants such as uranium. These substances are associated with serious health problems, including respiratory diseases and birth defects. It also often contains sulfur-containing materials that can generate sulfuric acid when exposed to air and water. When this acid drains from the mines, it can devastate rivers, streams, and other aquatic and terrestrial environments for a very long time.
Then there's the human cost. Shocking human cost, not least for children mining for cobalt for batteries used in electric vehicles and elsewhere. It's absolutely tragic what's going on. Cobalt has become known as the blood diamond of batteries. These are some clips from a Channel 4 documentary on life in the Congo for the children and families who live and work at or near the cobalt mines.
They work long hours with barely room to move. They earn about £3 a day, more than most in the DRC, but it's still very low.